This is Trill Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Chimmons.
And I'm Ricky Wynn.
Ricky, you're looking a little bit tired.
I'm a bit tired. Back to work, man. Back to the grind, Well, until I put some light on myself. Jesus
better.
Christ. That's better. I was there going, looking at the screen going, something's missing. Yeah. That's better. But no, I'm definitely tired, man. First day back at work, it hits you like a shovel, man. It's like you've had your little Christmas break and you think you're flying high and then you're back to work. Look, everyone's back to work, Time
Back,
to keep showing up.
back to porridge. Happy New
Yeah.
Year. And Happy New Year to all of the listeners and viewers. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas holiday break. And yeah, it is Tuesday morning in Australia. So we're a day ahead of you in Ireland right now, Ricky. So yeah, we had first day blues yesterday. Sarah off to work and back to the office. And yeah, the grind is back to normal. How was your? I mean, I think we got to recap because we haven't really
Mm.
spoke a great deal over the holidays. You were in ninja mode, head down, getting a little bit of R&R, I think, a little bit of a break. I made one note about the Christmas period, and I thought there's definitely been a lot less keep showing up. Ricky needed his downtime.
Yeah, maybe so, but like I was, yeah, so like anyone that was wondering where I was over in Norway. My younger brother lives over in Norway, so I went over to Norway, spent a week over there, and I was trying to keep showing up. So I was, because I'll tell you, there's nothing soft about that country this time of year, man. It was like -10 with a wind chill of -17. And yes, I know when they say, when you look at your weather app and it says, it feels like this outside, I'm always like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah. It's 4 degrees, it's 5 degrees. Feels like, no, it doesn't. But, oh man, it felt like -17. It was so cold. It was brutal. But also, I was in Oslo, right? So, maybe 40 minutes north of Oslo. It's so windy. It's so windy. Like it's cut you in half kind of wind when you're trying to run. And you've got all these layers on. You've got about 4 million layers on. And you can hardly breathe because you have so much stuff on. Your mouth is covered, your face is covered, your ninja mode down to your eyes. I've like spots on my forehead, spots on my just from sweating and from freezing and just having been covered up all the time. It's definitely not easy this time of year. Like, look, I gotta say, there wasn't too many people running when I was there. I would imagine more people they're getting ready for ski season, right? And that's what they're getting ready for. But if they are running, they're probably running on a treadmill inside and waiting for that snow to actually come.
Like Killian doing 4K of vert in 10 miles or something on the
Yeah,
treadmill.
yeah.
Legend that he is. Um, yeah, but before you went to Norway, you were over a little bit further west, and you have your Christmas tradition now of doing Patrick a couple of
Ah,
days. So
yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. Get a bit of vert.
It's like a tradition now, you know what I mean? Like me and Trina's from Westport. Her family lives a mile from Patrick, like, and anyone that knows me knows that's my favorite mountain in Ireland. So like I try and get up and down that as much as I can. So once I'm home for Christmas, and look, it's always an excuse to get away too, isn't it? You're at the in-laws' house, and sometimes it can get a bit much, and they won't. No one will mind me saying this. You know what I mean? It happens to the best of us, and you need to get out, and you need to move, and you need to stretch, and it's good for the head, and it's good for the mind, and it's good for the soul. And Patrick always puts a smile on my face. So I did it on Christmas Day and I did it on Stephen's Day. But I had to be careful because I haven't been there in a while, and it is unbelievable for giving you DOMs. I don't care. I ran up and down it 15 times a few years ago for a world record, and people think, oh wow, I don't know how you did that. I don't know how I did it because after doing it once, I have DOMs. you know. And then the next day I had DOMs again, and the third day I had DOMs again. It's like it's an incredible place to smash your quads.
How the hell are you getting DOMs? Because that's from doing something that's more excessive than what you would normally be doing. I mean, I take it just must mean there's a steeper grade on that
Ah,
than the
yeah.
other trails that you're running.
Yeah, like, but that's what it is. It's so steep, and like, I'm not trying to break any speed records coming down. I actually, I actually did two workouts on it, so I was using it, right? So I can actually do a sea to summit. It's really cool. You drive out the road and you park at a beach, right? And it's called Bertra Strand, and it's I think 3K from the mountain. So I'm getting 3K of a warm up, and then I'm hitting the mountain hard, and I'm
Perfect
going.
3K.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant. And it's like it's actually more downhill than uphill. Do you know what I mean? There's more good running on the way to the mountain. So you're getting nice and loose and you're getting nice and warm. And then you hit the mountain and it's right. I always say it right. You are not walking a step. You are not walking a step of this mountain. Like it's 764 meters and it is steep. Hey, it is so steep, you know, and it's 764 meters of vert in 3.3K. It is steep like, and
That's got
I
to be
got
similar to Sleeve Donard in the Mournes.
yeah, it it's very similar, but it's still steeper than Donard. Do you know what I mean? I can come down Donard, I can mow down Donard, right? And Donard won't give me the DOMs like Crowpatrick will give me. Like Crowpatrick's definitely steeper, and then they've steps on the way down now, and the steps are tricky to run down on. They're great for running up on. Because I can run every step now, you know, the way they've done it. But coming down is tricky. And it was icy because from halfway up, it was completely frozen. Like it was class. Like it was pure carnage. There was loads of people up there that like were out of their depths. And on the way down, they were like, you know, they were nearly on all fours. And I'm coming, you know, zooming behind them. Like I love that.
You beat them. You were
Yeah.
winning.
Yeah. There was one guy, I can't believe I'm saying this, but there was one guy there,
And you
right?
beat him.
I beat him, but he was there on Christmas Day, and fair play, man. He was there, he had the poles, and I seen this guy ahead of me on the way down, and I says, there's a guy, there's a runner, you know, I could pick him out, like, and I was going, oh, sweet, I can, you know, it's just something to aim for, right? So I was thinking, it'd be great to see if I could catch him. He could have been like 500 meters ahead of me, something like that. And yes, I caught him. I caught him, and I passed him with about maybe 400 or 500 meters to go on the mountain. And then I just ran by him, said hi, kept going. Right? Yeah, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Went back the following day, was coming down again. I didn't see him on the way up. This is the crazy thing. Maybe because my head is down and I'm not taking much in. It's you're heavy breathing, and I'm working on the way up, right? And then on the way down, he's I see him, but he's almost at the bottom when I see him. He's almost there. So I had to really put the shoe down to catch him, and I caught him. And I passed him. But it was funny because I said hi to him, I said hello to him, but he didn't say hello back to me, you know? And I was, all right, whatever, you know? And then I got to where you can start running again. You're off the mountain and there's a little bit of a path, and I'm jogging down this path and I'm easing off because I know I got to run back to the car park now, and it's kind of like my cool down anyway. But your man ran up alongside me, caught me again, and then he was shoulder to shoulder with me, and I looked at him and I said hello to him, and he didn't say hello back. Yeah,
He
so
was he was using you as well as a bit as a the hare and the rabbit.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So if you do know me, and if you ever do watch Trail Talk, which I hope you do, know that I have big respect for you, man. 2 days in a row on the Reek at Christmas. Fair play, fair play.
But fuck you for not saying hello.
Yeah, but say hello, man. Come on, it's trail etiquette. You fucking say hello.
Even on the flat bit, was this running out to the beach?
It would have been no, it would have been you just come off the mountain and there's a statue of St. Patrick there, and you just jog down a couple of little steps and then you're into the car park, and it was just there, you know. He was, and I was like, that was a perfect opportunity to actually have a conversation there, you know, because just before that, where I passed him, would have been like one of the like trickier spots, more technical. You know, you really want to be watching where you're putting your foot, or you end up on your ass. Like,
He was either a road runner doing some Christmas trail running, or he was a cyclist. Could have even been a triathlete. Doesn't sound like a mountain runner to me.
poles out though. That's the only
He
thing.
borrowed
Just
them. He had to borrow them.
yeah,
We're
we
not
gotta get
accepting them.
you. We gotta get you up the reek, man. There's a few mountains in Ireland I haven't been up, and I'm sure there's a few you haven't been up. But I don't think you've been up Patrick, have you?
No, no, I haven't. Like anytime I've been over in the West, Milray,
Yeah,
Nethin, and
yeah.
then the only other stuff close to that would have been the Glencogan Horseshoe and some of the 12 Bends.
Well, look. In fairness, yeah, you've done a lot of the good ones. Yeah, a lot of the good ones.
I haven't done
But
an iconic one.
yeah, yeah, but look, I'm the same, man. I haven't, like, embarrassingly, I have never ran up Carntoohil. Like, it's an absolute disgrace. Like, I should be shot for not running up Patrick, calling myself an Irish trail runner, or Carntoohil. But that's just because I was down in Kerry a lot of times, but I was training for a different event, different race. I couldn't be spending time on a mountain I wasn't going to be running on. So that's my excuse. But I will get up it. I will get up it.
No, I'm the same. Sure, that time I was down in Kerry for 6 weeks leading up to the Kerry Way, and I just wasn't going to run anything that wasn't on the Kerry Way.
Yeah, because you have to run a lot of the Kerry Way. It's like nearly 200 kilometers, so you can't be not running on the Kerry Way. Like, that's exactly it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I was the same. All right, look, on with the show. It's a new year. It's 2026. Yeah. What has the year in store for us? We have 30 something people going to Swiss Canyon trails at the end of May. That is going to be a real, that's going to be good crack, mate. That's going to be so
That
much fun. We've got people entered from 16, 30, 80, 111. Is there any 50K runners? I don't know, but people are doing races right across the board. There is good participation from the Bells group in the community as well. Chrissy and Martin are coming over from America. I mean,
deadly.
it's going to be so much fun. I'm in the process of organizing the after party and where that's going to be so that we all have like this place to meet up after the race and just, have a cheers, have a fist bump, have a sparkling water, whatever's your drink of choice, and just catch up with everyone. So I'm looking forward to that. I think all our discount code uses have been taken up. Although to be fair, I think most people entered before we even had a discount code.
Yeah,
Some people are coming along just for the crack and not even racing. So I mean, fair play to them as
crew.
well.
We crew. You can crew if you're not racing. You can crew. Sweet.
And crewing might involve here. There's a camera.
Yeah,
Go to this
yeah,
part in the course and capture
yeah.
some content.
Yeah, I tell you, if it works, it works. But 30 people, over 30 people, that's going to be insane, man. That's going to be so much fun. That's going to be deadly. Because even like I was messaging Brent the other day for one of the Trail Talk members, and I was saying you should come over, and he says, I am coming over, and I said, oh, deadly, that's deadly, like, you know what I mean? To see him over there as well, because it's been ages since I seen him kind of doing something since tour, do you know what I mean? So you obviously got him motivated enough to lace back up the shoes and get out the door. Like, so I'm excited to see him there.
Not only lace up the shoes, he's back in training. He's motivated. He's doing the 80K. He's bringing along a friend who's doing it too. I think it's somebody who maybe doesn't do that much trail running. Um, but they know they're friends from the gym. And he's out running in the Kailas Fuga 330. So he's got the kit and he's got the race entry. And Brent lives in Zurich, so quite an easy trip for him to come over to the Swiss Canyon Trail. And it's an easy race to get to from Geneva or Zurich or wherever you're traveling. And unlike UTMB, we'll not be applying a carbon tax to this race. So come along. Over the next couple of months, we will do some preview on the various courses. And if anyone wants information on the meetup, there is a link in the bio or in the description with to the Strava event. So jump in there, have a look, or ask some questions in Trail Talk WhatsApp. Jump in the Euro group, and we will help you out there. I created another Strava event a couple of days ago
Yeah,
because I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm what, 20 days, 19 days away from flying back to Ireland for just over a couple of weeks. So we're going to do a meetup. It'll be our third meetup in Mourne. And whenever I was
yeah.
realizing that, I was going, wow, this will be our third time meeting and having like people go out for a run together and catching up in O'Hare's pub afterwards. So looking forward
For
to
tea and biscuits, for tea
tea
and
and
biscuits.
biscuits. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was thinking, like I said to you, we'll get food or whatever. And like I've always like bought the first round, as some people have went ahead and bought a drink before they realized that they were going to get a freebie. But there might be too many people for me to buy the first round because if it's 6 or 7 or 8 quid for a drink, I mean already there's like 15 people in the in the Strava event. So it might be buy the first round for people that are around me at the bar. So if you're watching the show and you're gonna be at the meetup, get close to me when I enter O'Hare's. You get a free drink. I won't be doing a table order,
Yeah,
but that
yeah,
is going to be on the 1st of February. We'll do a long run in the Mournes. You know me. I'll be bringing the shit weather, so bring your gear. It'll be bad
yeah,
weather. It'll be cold anyway. It's cold regardless. But we'll
yeah. Like
do.
last year was so cold. It was so cold. It was brutal. I was ninja head to toe last year.
That's right. Was that last year?
Yeah, that was last year.
That
Yeah,
was last
yeah,
year. Yeah, yeah. That was. There's a good picture of you. Like it's that's all that was
yeah,
in view. The rest of you was covered. But I'm gonna do a different route this time. I think it'll be better to do a more interesting route, but we'll make it that there's a shorter option for
yeah.
those who don't want to do the
60.
longer run.
Yeah, yeah. We leave it at like 50K or something. Be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I mean something
Something
tame.
handy, something handy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like for me it was cool because I was looking at you. I knew you were coming over, and I knew what weekend you were coming over, and I was thinking, oh, I might do a race or this race and trying to get a race for January, and then I actually ended up saying no. I'm not going to do that race. There was a race that I had in mind, but it was around the same time as you were coming home, and I said no. I'll find another race later on. We'll have some crack up in the mornings to get some good training in. And then I actually found a little 8K race the weekend before that. So that'll be like a little rust buster 8K. It's an IMRA race, Irish Mountain Run Association race. So it's actually not that far from me. Anyway, it's only like an hour's drive from me. And then a little blast there, head to the Mournes, get some good training in, and then find another race. So again, perfect.
Oh, well, that's good stuff. Is that the weekend before the first?
Yeah, so I think it's the 24th. I think it's the
24th? Yeah,
24th.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good job. I arrive on the 25th, otherwise I'd be Googling to see what the race is.
Yeah, and it's a short one. You'd love it. It's like it's only an 8K race with about around 300 meters of vert in it. Like it's a fast, like it's like, do you know what I mean? It's the equivalent to a 5K race. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, it's over on trails that I know really well, and it's super fun. It's all mountain bike trails. It's class little route.
Sweet. Well, I had to find myself a race too because it's like February is the perfect time to do something short. And I haven't like I was toying with we were looking at maybe flying or doing a race straight after the meetup, maybe the weekend afterwards, and I was going to stay on, but like logistically it's difficult and it's complicated with flights for me as well. So I'm actually we've talked about this before. I like to have like a training motivation and something to focus especially whenever you have to think about things like doing weighted step ups and like dialing in specificity for a race. So I was messaging you a couple of days ago about the Mourne 500, which is a route that I did in 2019 in part of my Bigfoot 200 training. And it's 62K with about 5,000 meters of vert. I've changed my mind since I spoke to you
Okay.
because that, whenever I ran that, I actually did set the fastest known time in that, but it was obviously that means nothing, right? But it was Billy Reid had set a time on it. It had lasted for 10 years and it was good training motivation for me to go out there and break that time. And I tried it the year before and got hit with bad weather and had to pull the plug actually at 50K. But there's another route which is a little bit shorter, the Mourne 600. So it's mourne600.com if anyone wants to find any information about it. And it's actually a route that I created and set up a website just as like a challenge that people could go out and do. It's a fixed route with certain rules about doing it, and people will submit their route for, to get added onto the list.
Yeah.
It's only been done about 9 or 10 times. And obviously
And
I
it's
have the
yours. It's your route, like, yeah.
I'm
You
the
made
first
it.
I'm the first completion of the
Uh,
route. And
really
I
are the
created
king of the
it,
Mournes, huh?
King of the Morns, that's it. But I created it years, like maybe about 6 years ago, because a lot of the routes in the Mourne started in certain places. Like they started in at the Donard Car Park for the Rankin Round. A lot of other things, you've only got certain other places. Like the Mourne 500 starts at a place called the Ott Car Park if you do it in the traditional way. So there's only a couple of other road crossings where you could start something and be straight under the mountains. So I created the Mourne 600 as starting at one other location that has no other round or route starting at. It's about 45K with nearly 4,000 meters of vert.
Nice.
A lot of it is rough ground, but interestingly, there's never been a winter completion of the round. I was looking back at the mailbox of it, and like I think over the past 3 years, there's maybe been 5 people, there are 6 people that have submitted, I'm gonna do the route on this date, and I never got a reply email to say, they've done it. So there's been lots
Yeah.
of attempts. Some people have pulled the plug because there's like a couple of places where you can basically bail out of it if it's not going to plan or whatever. So I assume that happened. So I'm gonna give that a go. I think a couple of days after the meetup, maybe
Okay.
the Thursday after the meetup. It's self navigated, no support, carry everything, and basically, in summer I ran it in 9:40, right? And I think in winter I'm gonna have to start at maybe like 4 a.m. to complete it in daylight because I think there's isn't it like it's gonna be like 6 till 4, 6 a.m. to 4 is probably the daylight hours
Yeah, like
max.
today was one of the like a bit brighter in the evening. It didn't get completely dark until about 5 o'clock today. So there was a little bit of a stretch. But you're looking at 5 o'clock. You're looking at 5 p.m. It's going to be dark. Yeah.
So if I start a little bit earlier, do some of the western section in darkness, and then hopefully I get to finish it in light. So
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to it.
That'll be
I
class.
like whenever you pick something. I don't know about you, like I started to get excited, and then when you start to get excited about something, you're like, oh well, actually, I can't wait to get the kettlebells out and do some step ups.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, but prior to having that interest, it's like, oh fuck, I really have to do these.
Yeah, but it is until like I'm the very same. Until you set that goal, it's you just don't have that same like it's not a drive. You just don't have that same conviction. It's like, yeah, that's what's happening. We're doing this now. Come on, and it's just head down and go. And you need that. I need that. You need that drive, like.
Yeah. So look, we've got some stuff that we want to rip through in the show, some agenda pieces. But I think what we got to start off with is like New Year's resolutions because, yeah, I think it's maybe the trend of they shouldn't have a New Year's resolution because you should be fucking brilliant already.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
so good, you don't need to change anything. Like it's a lifestyle, it's not a New Year's resolution. But as as accurate as all that is, it's still nice to start a new year and have some things that you want to get better at.
Well, if we're starting with that, then you have to continue talking because I want to know what you're thinking because I don't know, you might have a different spin on it, you see. So I want to hear if you've made a New Year's resolution and if you have, what is it and why?
Well, I think it gets messy when you start to call it a resolution,
Mm,
but there are a couple of things that I'm going into I've gone into the new year to do. New Year's, look at Josh in the chat, New Year's intentions.
I see it. I see it.
No,
He's
thank
quick.
you.
He's quick.
He was quick, yeah. He
Yeah.
was on the keyboard ready for that. Look, I'm thinking of it more as things that I just want to tidy up. And I'm kind of delaying a little bit because I feel kind of a little bit awkward or vulnerable saying this, but I feel like I need to actually get a little bit lighter.
Okay.
It's a weird thing to say. I feel uncomfortable saying it. I don't know why, but um, in December, like I'm was like 67 something point something, so under 68, and that's just heavy for me. And like if I have an extra 1 or 2 kilos, I just have it in the stomach. And
Yeah.
then you feel it whenever you put on your shorts, your half tights, or whatever. You're not thinking about the hog, you're thinking about the belly when you stick on your half tights. So I just feel like I need to like get back closer to 66, which is normally my in and around weight. Like if I'm 66 point something, I feel more myself.
Yeah.
And the way I need to do that, I think over the past year, I think maybe like with the carving up of things, you can I'm thinking that, I live and train like an athlete. It's okay to eat all of the carbs. Maybe it's not okay to eat all of the carbs. Maybe I should actually just be going carb heavy for workouts and training, but actually being more sensible just day to day.
Yeah. So like you're carving up pre-workout, pre-training run, and then post run, you're not eating all the carbs. Like, like, yeah, and yeah, and it is a touchy subject with, because like we're not telling people you can't eat carbs, and we're not telling that, but it is, if you just want to tidy things up a little bit, if you're feeling like you're a little bit sluggish, and you know that if you were a little bit lighter, you would be a little bit sharper, a little bit fitter, a little bit leaner, they're all a plus, I think, you know what I mean? And I think that's a great little goal to have, because it's a goal also that's very achievable, right? In a safe, short space of time. So that's like just one of those to get you in shape early in the season.
Yeah, and like I've been 64 is the lightest I've ever been, and that's whenever I was competing in jiu-jitsu, and that's because that was the weight I had to get down to. But that was with your clothes, so you were a little bit under that to compete. But if I'm in that 65 to 66 something, then that's kind of, I feel like a healthy, competitive, sexy weight. That's my sexy weight. But look, I don't know. I didn't know I was going to feel uncomfortable. I made the note to mention it because it is a resolution, an intention, something I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But it is difficult, and I know like it's not a great subject for you either to talk about as well. Like there's just something difficult about that for everybody.
Yeah, but like you said, it's your resolution, and and for you to talk about it is for you to own it. I always say that if you want to do something, you got to say it out loud. Otherwise, you won't do it. So that's your intention, and that's your goal. Get after it, baby.
I think I have one idea why the weight has drifted up a little bit.
The pints.
The pints.
Too many pints.
It's not even a pint here. In Australia they drink a schooner, which is about maybe it's about three-quarters of a pint. The way I would call it is like a pint without the warm bit at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's like all lovely. So anyway, without wanting one, because it's only 8 a.m., uh, I'm cutting out the drink. I have cut out the drink, so no drinking at all in January, anything.
Ah.
I am somebody that actually I love like a hard rule.
Yeah.
Some people will not be like that, but throughout my life, I have, all right, I'm gonna be a vegetarian, and I'll just like the next day, I'm vegetarian. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be vegan, and then, all right, I don't smoke anymore. I remember whenever in my early 20s, whenever I was, smoking or whatever, and my wife, who we've been together for like 20 years, and she used to smoke too, and she struggled for years and years and years to give it up. Whereas I just like got up one day, like, I don't smoke anymore. And that was it.
Yeah. Hard line, like it's just
Yeah.
a hard line. Yeah.
I like one of my strengths as a person is I'm very capable of putting something to the back of my mind and just forgetting about it.
Yeah.
And that's so drink is in the back of my mind. It's locked up in a little box. And the next time that I have a drink is going to be a pint of Guinness on the
Uh,
1st of February at the
in
Trail Talk meetup.
O'Hare's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's two. That's two for you now. That's two for you. Like, and if we're throwing it back at me, I
go
have
for it.
none. I have none. I have none.
Okay.
I've never ever done it. It's like I never make a New Year's resolution because it's just something I don't do. I've never done it. I've never like gone, oh, I need to do this year, or I need to do this year. My only New Year's resolution is that whole, like, it sounds really cliche and it sounds really shit, but it's like, I'm just gonna be me, but better. That's all. Everything's just going to be a little bit better, or I'm going to try to do everything a little bit better. And every year, no matter what I did, like when I was a kid, I would have said it about football. When I got into trail running, I would have said it about trail running. And I've said this a million times from the day I started trail running. Every year, I've got a little bit better, a little bit better. It's been the best year of my life, the best year of my life, the best year of my life. And I want that trend to continue. That's the only resolution I want. I want to just make sure that I'm getting better.
2025, Ricky Wynn. 2026, Ricky Wynn. Just to see him just a little bit better.
Just a
Every
little
year,
bit
just a
better.
little bit better. Do you not feel that that makes the transition from one year into the next, like going from the break of Christmas and New Year into like back to work and back at it again? Do you not feel like it makes it a little bit more groundhoggy? Like Groundhog Day? Like I
Yeah,
like that there's something new, so it's like, okay, it's like there's a new thing to focus on. There's a new thing that like I'm focusing where I what's gonna make me better. You
yeah.
want to be a little bit better again, but you're just thinking, I'm going to get there by doing more of the same because that's previously worked.
Yeah, but I'm very groundhoggy. I'm very Groundhog Day kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like I eat the same dinner every single day. I eat the same lunch every single day. If it ain't broke, I don't fix it. That's the way I look at it. Like, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm great, but I like my attitude towards training. I like that attitude, and I'm always up for next year. It's like, okay, this was a good year. Let's be better. Let's be better. And it's like this time of year, even though it's miserable and I'm not a massive fan of running in the rain and the cold and everything, I love this time of year because I always get that sort of like, now, this is where you get better. You know what I mean? And then I'm ready to go. Like that's kind of how I always approach Christmas, New Year's, and then into January. That's how I always approach it. I kind of really love this time of year because I can just sort of like bank fitness, feel good going into the new year, and then attack the new year. That's kind of how I do it.
So you want to be better, like you want to keep improving, how are you going to improve? What are you going to change? What are you going to add into the toolkit to make you better?
But already the toolkit has got additions.
You've
You know,
got you've got all the weapons.
well, been a little bit of this and a little bit of that sprinkled into training, you know, since we'll say early December, and I'm bringing that with me into New Year's, you know. And it's funny, it is funny because I just start like I was doing a session, a different kind of a session on a Wednesday, and a different kind of a session, a samey kind of session on the weekends, but a different session on the Wednesdays. And like even after only a couple of weeks, I was seeing that, yeah, you know, leg speed is good. Leg speed is back to where I wanted. And it came back a lot quicker than I was expecting. You know, even when I was on Patrick, little things like where I said, I'm going to run every single step of this, not actually believing I could run every single step. You know, that was just the thought process. Like, but I had a body that could run every single step of Patrick, you know, and when you're doing that in December, that gives you great confidence going into the new year. Like,
So, are you doing anything different? Like, are the workouts different? Like, how are you going to get better? That's what I want to know. Like, I'll give you an example, and then you can come back with something
mm,
more specific. Because I
hmm,
wanted something specific. I want to be able to come back at you in 2 months and go, did it work? So, I've already said in Australia, a lot of the climbs here are steps, and my
yeah,
efficiency dies whenever I hit the steps. So while I might be feel really good at grades up to maybe 12%, anything over that, we're starting to see step climbs. So what I've been doing and what I've added into my training, and now I'm 5 weeks into it, so I'm starting to feel like I always say 5 weeks of consistent training doesn't even need to be high volume because it's not. After 5 weeks, I start to feel fit, start to feel like, all right, this is clicking now. And I'm 5 weeks into training since the recovery after Kosciuszko. And every 5 days, I do a session on the bike, which is power reps. So uphill, 11%, low cadence. So the cadence lock is 50 to 55. So it means I'm targeting the muscles for uphill running
yeah,
and as much power as I can do within that cadence lock, which is actually really, it means that it's really hard to do, but it means that you're increasing the gear to create more resistance. So you end up, you know, working harder but not faster, if you know what I mean. And I'm
yeah,
starting to see the the power output increase 5 weeks in. And I'm doing it again. I'll do it again today. So every 5 days, I think that's what is a good kind of cycle to allow me to recover and fit in another type of session. So that's what I'm doing to try and get better at steps. And who knows if it'll work? We'll find out. Is there something that you're thinking, I need more speed, I need more of this, I need more of that, so I'm going to do this?
yeah. Well, like I rewind the clock, right, to when I started, right, and when I started, I came at it, let's say a year into what I was doing, right. I'm at this now. I think on my as a competitively, I'm going into my like seventh year, right, and like my first 2 years would have been, yeah, I'm that dude that's pretty quick. I can run, but I would have seen that I was running and then I was walking and then I was hiking parts that I could be running, you know, and then every year you're progressing, you get a little bit better. And then I'm at a stage, like we'll say over the last year, I would have been at a stage where I feel like most of these races now I can run everything. You know, you're running everything. You're walking very, very little. I've got more power, I've got speed, but like now it's like, yeah, but you need to get better. You need to be more efficient, you know? So for me, I'm bringing two things in. I want to be quicker, so more speed endurance, right? So speed endurance so that I'm faster for longer, right? But then I also have a little goal in my head where I want more vert this year because the big goal race for me is UTMB, right? So in my head already, I'm telling myself I'm in UTMB. So I need way more vert, you know. I had 134,000 meters of climbing in 2025, so I want more vert. And I mean a good bit more vert for this year. And I will get that by doing more, we'll say, Crow Patrick's, more long runs in. Also, yeah, I'll be doing a lot more long runs, like more bigger runs at the weekends as well. But I'll be mainly looking for more vert. And then if I can't get that vert outside, I will get that vert inside. I will do a lot more treadmill vert if I can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I've
Like,
managed to extract something new out of Ricky Wynn. Tell us
yeah.
more. Where are you getting to the treadmill for some uphill work?
I've got it. Well, like we have a treadmill here that goes up to like 15 on the thing. You know, it's I don't know what that is. I think that's 11%. Is that 11 or 10 anyway? Well, anyway. So, but I'm looking at that from. There's actually like a runner in Australia, Beth McKenzie. You know, and I was looking at what she was doing, and like she spent so much time running uphill on the treadmill. You know, I think she did something like 27 hours uphill running on the treadmill last year, you know. And I just thought that's really impressive, you know. And then I'm just looking at like why she was doing it, and why she's doing it is because of time and where she lives, and that she's training for big races with Big Vert. So I was like going, well, that's very similar to what I'm looking for. I have a job 9 to 5. Where I live, there is no big mountains. I have a treadmill. I hate the fucking thing, but I need to get better. So I need to like just say, get up on that treadmill, crank up the vert, and get it done.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually a really smart addition to your training. Like even if you could get in one or two sessions on the treadmill. I know you're saying it's difficult and you hate the thing, but whenever you're doing intensity and up, it's
Mm,
like you're locking into an uphill grind. I actually love the treadmill for that. Not something that you can stick on Netflix or whatever. Like I want to whack on some music and work like higher heart rate in around lactate kind of sort of threshold running. I love that type of
yeah,
thing on the treadmill.
yeah. But it's, I do hate. Like hate's a strong word, right? But I hate it compared to running outside. I want to just run outside all the time, no matter how wet it is, cold it is. I prefer to run it. But when I was injured in the past, I had a knee issue, a meniscus tear, and running uphill was fine. It didn't hurt me. It was all like on the flat and on the downhill that was hurting it. So like I used to do a lot on the treadmill. I think I did like, you know, nearly 10 weeks of my training one time on the treadmill. And it was all uphill because I found, well, I'm on the treadmill now as well, go get as much elevation as I can. And I did enjoy the grind uphill on a treadmill, you know, and like it's like a speed session, you know, you mightn't want to do it straight off the bat, but it doesn't be long till it's done, you know, and it's one of them when it's done, it's a great feeling when it's done. It's the same with the uphill workouts.
Yeah, so when's that gonna start?
That's going to start now. That's going to start like this week, probably. Yeah, this week. Yeah.
I'm looking more of a commitment here. Are you gonna do the treadmill this week or
I'm
next?
going to do the treadmill this week. Yeah,
And what are
yeah,
you gonna do
yeah.
on it?
I'm going to do probably like I'm not telling you yet because I still haven't figured out exactly what workout I'm going to do in it. But it'll be something like you know, it'll be something I'm just saying like maybe 3 by 8 minutes or 5 by 8 minutes or something like that. You know, a bit of a push, bit of a recovery, and then go again. You know, but I'll work that out. Like again, I will like overthink this and in my head, and then I'll have a great workout, and I'll be able to tell you how it went next week. How's that?
Oh yeah, you'll come on the show next week and you go, I beat the treadmill.
I broke it. Yeah.
All right. Look, some stuff happened in the news that I think's worth mentioning. But before we get there, give me your numbers for like last week in terms of how many.
Oh,
Can we go with time? Can we go with distance? Can we go like I don't think we need to go vert, or maybe we do go with vert, but like I made a note of my numbers because I think it's important. I just want this to
Yeah,
be kind of accountable, and because people hear us talking about training, and they're like, we see conversations in the WhatsApp and other things, and I think it's nice to anchor it in something. So like whenever I talk about my consistent running over the past 5 weeks, it's actually like 6 weeks. Um, I haven't run more than 6 hours a week, right? And
yeah,
that's about 60k. So my Strava graph is like GPT, which is still here for another couple of weeks at like 170, and then it drops and then it comes up and it's lovely. Like it's just a lovely, in a couple of weeks
yeah,
I'm gonna have a lovely max graph and then it's gonna start building up. As sad as that is. And then um so
yeah. I
that's
seen yours the other day. It's like it could be, yeah, it could be 5 weeks like that. Is it five little dots maybe?
it's six.
Yeah,
It's six with a, yeah, in around the same. And then on the cycling, because none of that's public, although I did make one public because I felt like I needed to put something up for New Year's Day. But I'm tracking on like 4 to 5 hours a week on the bike. And honestly, that's like one, maybe 2 hour, or 1 2-ish hour session or just steady cycle, like easy, very easy, like half of FTP, like it's
yeah,
recovery, and then a session as well. And then if it's super hot or whatever, I might swap a run, but I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not actually swapping that run to a bike at this point where I want
yeah.
to start to build up the volume. So
The
if I'm hitting 60k over January, I probably want to get up to like 80k with one run session, one bike session,
yeah,
and just build it up very slowly. And then I'm actually having to do a lot of mobility at the minute, so I'm tracking at like 3.5 hours a week. And that's sort of like 20 to 40 minutes every day. And I'm having to do that pre-run, or I'd kind of do it first thing in the morning. Like if we weren't on the
yeah,
pod now, this is the time that I would be doing it. I've had this problem with my back left glute, and it started to become an issue. So I'm feeling that I thought it was going to be like Achilles tendonitis, but it's actually like posterior tendon that wraps around the inside of the ankle. So
okay,
I'm going to the physio this afternoon. It's because there's some sort of tightness in the glute and it's pulling everything on the left hand side. So I need to get that looked at before I increase the
start.
volume.
Exactly, yeah, yeah,
And it's one reason why I'm actually going to do the power workout in the bike today, which I shouldn't have been doing it until probably a day or two from now. But I thought I ran yesterday. I don't really want to run today because the foot was like around the ankle and Achilles. It's actually really sore. It's really
yeah.
tender. You ever pinch like around the Achilles and it's actually painful. That's how it is for me, and it takes me to warm into it even on a run.
Yeah, and then and the speed session, it'll pinch that even harder. Like it's speed, that's the thing. Like the speed sessions, that's the only thing I'd say about speed. Everyone's mad for speed. Everyone's mad for speed workouts. Speed workouts hurt the body sometimes, and everyone's on crazy about 2 hard sessions a week. It's like the law, that you're supposed to do 2 hard sessions a week. You're not. You're supposed to know how many hard sessions you can actually handle, because if you start doing two, it won't be, and you're not able to handle it. I'm telling you, tendons, ligaments, they'll fire up and they'll find you.
Yeah, and you need to listen to your body. Like yesterday, I was actually gonna go out and do K on K off,
Yeah,
and I had to just change it to actually I'm just gonna have to go out here and just churn some churn some Ks out and keep them all easy because I just didn't want to aggravate anything.
yeah. And then total time wise, so what's your total time
Total. I so
for your Yeah,
well, we're not gonna forget mobility because we're just talking about aerobic time. So I'm
yeah,
guess I'm on like 9.5 hours a week.
yeah, yeah. Like for me. like again, like your little graph is probably steady like that, a little maybe up, maybe up a little bit every week or something like that over the last 5 weeks. Mine is very similar to that as well. I think I had one drop off where I dropped, so I was like, if you were talk nine like 100K pretty much for the last like 5 weeks, and then there was one dip in it I think there, and it was down to 85K. Just time was not on my side that week, but then Norway this week there was a little jump up, but again I had time. I was doing a few more doubles over in Norway. 2 days traveling though as well, and I ended up with 116K, maybe 1100 meters of climbing. There was more climbing in the week previous because I was on the Reek, I was on Cropatrick, so there's only a dip in elevation, but we'd say 116 kilometers, I think around 11 hours. So that was again a jump from, I think, 9.5 to 9:45. So a little bit of a jump there in that as well. But I did a lot of doubles this week, and then I only did one hard session. So I did double. Monday was just a shakeout. After it was a travel day, it was a shakeout. It was -9 when I got there, but there was no snow. Tuesday was a double, so I did 16 in the morning, 10 in the evening. Wednesday was a session. I found out after doing those two runs on the first day that there was a segment, and the segment was 4.1K, and I thought that's a good segment, and that's there since 2021. And me and my brother, we were just chatting about it, and I think he was like fourth or fifth on the segment. He's not a Strava subscriber, so he never even knew it was there. You know what I mean? He never even knew it was there. And then I says, I might have a crack at that. I says, I'll do a bit of a warm up, and then I'll hit that on the way back. So that was like a 4K hard effort, and I
I
got the
saw
segment.
I
Yeah.
saw the lap on Strava.
Yeah, it was actually a great little. That's like a bike path, and it's great because, like, look, the next day it snowed, right? And no, sorry, the next day I went on the trails, and I was on the trails for the next 2 days, and I was thinking, oh, this is deadly. I'll go on the trails for the rest of the week now. But then it snowed, and it snowed so heavy I couldn't get to the trails. Like you couldn't run in the forest after that snow. So then it was back to the bike path. So it was great that you can have that, you know what I mean? And it's set up all over the place. There's bike paths all over the place in Norway, you know what I mean? So you can run millions of miles and miles in the forest, but when you can't get to the forest, you will have the bike trails, and they're plowed, and there's a tractor out and he's clearing that because people are walking, they're bringing their dogs, everything for walks and that. So it is great for that. So I got my session in on a Wednesday, got my Strava crown, and then the next day, because I did that hard session, my calves were on fire, man. My calves were lit. So the next day was a very easy day. I doubled on that day, but they were two easy runs, and they were two very easy runs. One of them was in the trails, and one of them was out on the bike path again. Then I did a long run as well. So I did 20K, and it was actually cool because I wanted to test the watch, the Suunto watch that we have, and I wanted to test that and do the maps. And then I actually wanted to get lost and find my way back. So that was very cool, and I got to do that. I got to see loads of the sort of there's a red line and a blue line, and the red line over there is for the cross country skiers, and the blue is for the hiking trails. So I was just following blue markers everywhere. You could follow them forever. You know what I mean? They just go everywhere. It's unbelievable how many of them there are, all the trails, and you just get completely lost. And then it was, all right, time to find my way back now. And you're just trying to checking the watch, checking the compass, which way, which direction. Now I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know which direction I'm going. And I had so much fun just trying to find my way back. And then I popped out at a school on that bike path and then back to the house. Deadly.
There's a comment there in the chat. Are you planning on running any races out there?
In
Norway.
I did Oslo Eco Trail. I think I did that maybe 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I did the 50K. I was third in the 50K over there. And that brilliant race, man. That was savage. It was a great race for a race that's in the city. Like, there's not much vert or anything like that in it. But it was unreal trails, and a little bit of road. There was a sprinkling of road at the end and maybe a sprinkling of road in the middle somewhere. But everything else was just forest trails. It's class, yeah.
Very cool. All right, let's so what were your numbers?
So for this week, it was 116K, I think 10 and a half, 10 hours, 45 minutes, something like that. And again, this is like my build, so I'm steadily building. I'm going to progress another little bit this week, maybe get up to 120K. I'll hold 120K for, in around that before I start actually ramping up. Because again, another goal for me this year is higher mileage. Like, look, I want more vert, I want more miles, I want more, 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 more. I want more of everything.
More porridge. So where are you like this month, January's what are we ramping up to? So let's say we're just over 100 Ks now and whatever that volume time was, where are we going to this month?
Uh, so by the end of this month, I'll probably be at 130 kilometers for the week. That'll be probably anywhere between 13 and 15 hours, depending on what we're doing.
Lovely. All right.
Mm,
The thing is, like, see with my ankle or this left-hand side, I don't think I could increase the volume.
yeah,
So that's why I'm like, right, get this sorted. Physios were all closed, so they only opened up yesterday. So I'm going in today, and I've got an appointment. So
yeah, and I'd be the exact same. Like if there was anything, if there was an issue that needs to be sorted, it's January. Sort it,
yeah,
sort it. Yeah,
don't ignore shit, ignore stuff. It's like I used to work in tech, and I used to say to the guys, don't ignore a problem. They don't fix themselves.
yeah,
Like it's gonna come back and it'll be worse because you've ignored it. So sort it out now before it gets worse. So
yeah.
I'm gonna sort it out so I can get on another 20 Ks added on over the next couple of weeks. So
Perfect.
one thing that we were chatting about in the Trail Talk WhatsApp was Francesco Puppi put up a story about his heart rate zones for the
Mm.
year, which is actually a really cool graph that you can do on Strava. I never even knew about this until he posted it up. And what was it? He's doing like 67% of his training is in zone two or zone one.
Zone
And
one.
yeah, and his heart rate zones actually match up well with mine. Like his zone one was, I think, 139 or 140, and mine is around 139 as well. And then his zone two was, I think, 156. Mine was again is within one of that. So I thought that was really interesting. He was saying, look, whenever we're training for ultra trail and the long distances, you don't need to do this 80-20 rule that gets inflated through runfluencers talking shit for views. And he's sort of saying like 90% of my work was under LT1, which is like zone one, zone two.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway from that conversation and his post?
My takeaway is we've been talking about this for ages. It's something we agree with and have talked about loads of times. And you know that I am a big kind of fan of that style of training. But then other people would maybe look. My big takeaway from that was that how would people look at that, right? They would look at that and say that, oh, he's running all his training in zone one, so he's running really easy all the time or something like that, and he's not doing these big sexy workouts. So maybe if I do that, and I'm going, yeah, hold on a second now. Francesco Puppi is running 200 kilometers a week. If you're running 200 kilometers a week, you can't do massive sessions all the time. You're going to get a stimulus from running high volume, sprinkling in some speed. And again, Francesco Puppi is a weapon who's a very, very extremely fast athlete. And most of his LT1 or most of his zone one is around 4:10 a kilometer. Do you know what I mean? That's how quick Francesco is. So you can't just look at his training and say, well, I'm going to just match that with mine if you're only running 60 or 70 kilometers a week, you're not going to get the same stimulus that Francesco's getting. So you're going to have to do more quality if you're not getting the quantity. I think that's the big takeaway from that, right?
No, I 100% agree. Like the number one way to get better at running is to run, is
Mm,
to add volume. And if you're time starved, yes, you can lean or you could lean more into intensity and improve that way. But you have to remember you're only improving certain aspects of the running. Still, all coaches will say the number one way to get better at running and to improve running economy is to accumulate time running. It's like the 10,000 hour rule, like just running, and to be able to run a lot, you need to
yeah.
run it at low intensities. He just happens to be running low intensities, as you say, in the 4 minute Ks.
Yeah, yeah. But and also like the other big one, I suppose, the other one to talk about is the best way to get good at running is to do what he's done, as in you try and run as much as you possibly can, right? And that's from when you start running. So it takes years, and you just build training block on top of training block and touch wood, stay injury free as much as possible, and then you stack another training block on top of another training block, and year after year, year after year, and then you become an endurance aerobic machine.
Ricky
That's how you
Wynn,
do it.
1 year after another.
But that's what it is. It's just stacking bricks, man. It's just stacking bricks, consistency, stacking bricks. That's it.
One of the other takeaways I got from that was he was still accumulating a noteworthy amount of time in zone five. And
Mm.
whenever I looked at my own graph, yes, I'm doing upwards of like around 90% or whatever it is in zone one and zone two. Maybe more actually, mine was mostly zone two. Um, but I had no zone five. I had no zone five in the
Yeah.
past year. Now, some of that I think is down to I'm not hitting the higher heart rates on the bike because my limiter is muscular rather than cardio. Like
Yeah.
I would need
Because
to be doing like track intervals or uphill intervals, shorter uphill intervals running to get those higher heart rates. So that's one takeaway I got. Like, if as I increase the volume, I maybe should be looking at tickling that zone five a little bit more this year.
but I think you are. Like if you're doing those bike specific workouts, you're getting up in zone five. I know well you are. You have to be. You can't not. No?
No, no, no,
No.
because my limiter is actually leg strength. So that's
Yeah.
like a thing with runners whenever they transfer onto the bike. That's why your heart rate zones on the bike don't match those of the run because we are like cardiovascularly, I'm very fit, but when I
Yeah.
jump on the bike, I'm leg poor. I don't have the ability to get the heart rate up. So like I'm
Yeah.
actually whenever I'm working in those it's like the sixth rep, I'm getting up into the high 60s or maybe even touching 170 on the bike now. But if I go back 5 weeks, I
Yeah.
probably couldn't have got my heart rate up over 160 doing those power reps.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because just on this subject, on the bike one, like my younger brother had a hip operation there earlier in the year, and he's doing all his work now on Zwift. So he's doing all his workouts on Zwift. And let's say 4 months ago he did an FPT test, FTP test, and then he did one while I was in Norway at the weekend as well. Like, and I mean,
Was
the
he
man
snookered?
was, oh, he was just on it, like, you know what I mean. But before his heart rate was at like his last test, he was up around 175, something like that. Whereas in this time he was up around the 190s. So I think he hit 197. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
so, and he was pushing a lot more watts per kilo, like from 4 months ago. Now he is very like he's very like I would say his fast twitch fibers are one of his biggest strengths. You know what I mean? Like when he played football over 20 yards, nobody could catch him. He was so powerful. And then he did a lot of Olympic weightlifting. He used to deadlift. He used to weigh 48 kilo, right? Deadlift 155 kilo. So like his power to weight ratio is
Yeah,
incredible. So like he was pushing big watts on the bike, like you know. But it's a huge improvement. That's the only thing I was saying was I was saying I thought that's why I was saying you definitely are hitting those zones because he was getting those zones. But I didn't think about what you said and it's power. Like if you're not getting the power, then you're not getting the heart rate up because you're not able to get the max power down. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So I am working on increasing the power, and that's why 5 weeks into the block, I'm now hitting 170 heart rate on the last rep or two, whereas 5 weeks ago, I like when I started it, I was probably the legs were probably gassing out in the high 50s.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
every week I'm seeing 3, 4, 5 watts of an improvement.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
actually, I'm starting to accumulate. The legs are getting used to it. I'm starting to lock in. Also, mentally, you know what to do. And that helps you get it done. So, um, that's what one of the things I took away was the zone 5 thing
yeah.
with Poopy. So, we'll see how that goes. Anything else on Poopy before we move on?
No, no, I just it was cool that he shared that, like you said. I thought that was cool. Like, but I thought it was funny though, because he said, I'm not doing a sort of like, look at me, look how many miles I ran a Strava post. You know the way he does that.
But,
Poopy likes,
but,
and then 2 days later, he tells us exactly what he did, and he had like 11,000 kilometers for the year. And I'm going, you're telling us now anyway. Like, you know, we all knew you were going to tell us, but he just likes to tell you that he's not like everybody else, but then does what everybody else does anyway, you know?
he has a wee bit of a Tom Evans about him, where you kind of there's a transparency that we see that he's not aware of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah,
we
yeah.
know what you're kind of trying not to say, but saying,
But you're gonna say it anyway.
and
You're
eventually you'll
gonna,
say it.
yeah, because nobody's asking him. That's why, because nobody's saying, show us. So, and then he gets, oh no, I'm gonna post it anyway.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna bring this topic up now. Uh, it's very timely. UTMB posted just like, was it today? Was it yesterday? About their new mobility policy. And in 2026, we're taking new steps to reduce our carbon emissions by 20% by 2030 by introducing a fare system tailored to each journey. And there's a lot of conversation. Like I woke up and checked the
I
community this
know.
morning, and there was just so much chat about this. And basically, if you're within 2 hours of Chamonix, yeah, basically you have to use train for the last 2 hours of your travel. So the incentive there is to fly to get as closest to Chamonix as possible, like Geneva or whatever. So would that impact? Does that impact you at all? Like, I can't remember. Is it maybe like 3 hours to Geneva from Dublin?
No, it's 2 hours. Like it's only a 2 hour flight. Yeah, yeah, it's only a 2 hour flight. Maybe just over 2 hours, but it's not much over 2 hours. I think I've done it in 2 hours before. So a 2 hour flight, what is it on the bus from Geneva to Chamonix? What's it on the bus?
It's so just over an hour.
Yeah. So like I'm there in 3 hours. So I don't get hit with a tax. But
Yeah. So they're saying that you have to submit your ticket, so your mode of transport, and if you don't comply with the policy, you can have your registration cancelled, no refund, but you get your stones back.
yeah.
So I think it's a controversial one, and honestly, it doesn't. It really doesn't feel like this is in line with the way the world is tracking in terms of environmental and carbon footprint and things. Uh, But it is something that they've been working on for years, and now they've announced this for this year.
But let's say, right, so let's say you fly from Australia and then you fly to Gen where how much do you have to pay, like?
It wouldn't
Or
affect
how do
me
you
at
get
all.
hit?
It wouldn't
Yeah,
affect me at
because
all.
again, you go Geneva, and then again, you're
I
only
would
an
fly
hour from
from
Geneva.
Sydney to Dubai, Dubai to Geneva, and then I always do a private transfer rather than the bus. I don't think there's that much of a difference in price. It's about 40 euros for the private transfer, or it's like a shared transfer with five other people or six other people.
But what's the idea of this tax for carbon emissions, right? So surely your carbon emissions compared to mine are monstrous because you're flying all the way from Australia to get to Chamonix, and then the poor person that's but so the poor person that's then traveling from the Netherlands
Which
to
is like a 50-minute flight, I think, from Amsterdam to Geneva. They would be penalized because the UTMB policy would want them to take the train. So
yeah
you get the Eurostar from Amsterdam to Paris and then change in Paris and get the train from Paris to Geneva and then the bus from Geneva to Chamonix. So that
yes
that actually is quite a long trip. Like
yeah
the train, to get the train, it's not great. Like I know people that have got the train from London to Chamonix, and it's like a day of trains and changes.
yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. Like Josh is there, he's got something in the comments, he's saying, I'm pretty sure you're taxed based on distance and total carbon. That would make more sense. But I mean, how much? I get it, it's carbon emissions, but like, where does this leave everybody? It is an extortionate price, as is of today, just to do one of the UTMB races and just to get there. How much more can people actually spend getting to Chamonix? Like,
And I'll read on the statement. When pre-registering, commit to choosing one of the lowest carbon routes without using a car and benefit from a 30% bonus in the lottery draw.
yeah.
So you have preferential weighting in the lottery. That seems a bit strange, I
It,
think.
but in which lottery? In next year's lottery? Because it can't be this year's because you don't know if you've got in 2026 until the end of January. So how can they do that? That'll mean it'll have to be for next year.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out in due course a little bit more about this. We'll do some more research. I just think it's I just think it's a waste of time, honestly. Like, what is the objective? Yeah, is it reducing the carbon emissions? Is it for a carbon target for the company, or is it to bring in more
Is
money?
it Or is it to keep cars out of Chamonix, that they would prefer you to use public transport and not bring your own car from all over Europe? Is that it?
Uh, Yeah, who knows? I just thought about something actually. Like, I'm not gonna get hit with, I wouldn't get hit with any tax at all because I just put my address as Chamonix.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going home.
So we'll figure out what the tax amount would be, and then I will sell use of my address for half of that taxable amount.
Well, that's what the lads were saying in the Trail Talk WhatsApp group. They were saying there'll be like 400 people living in your apartment in Chamonix, like, you know. Yeah. They might get suspicious. They might.
There's only three beds and a sofa bed, so I mean, have to be a premium. We'll put a few people down in the cave as
Yeah.
well. All right, next thing I wanted to touch on, some contract moves, some changes, waiting to see where these people are going to go. I'll run through three names which stood out to me. There are others there that I don't think will really go into it, but Jenn Lichter is leaving the North Face. She put an announcement out about that. What do you think? That she's left
She's
them for a start?
Yeah, because like you know what I mean, that you associate the two of them together. Like she's with them. How many years is she with the North Face now? She's with them a long time, you
Well, I
know.
can't think of her before the North Face.
Yeah, so like to see her, I wonder like why the move, and is it a move that she made or they made, you know? So it's like,
I can't think that they would have not wanted to renew. So I'm going to assume that her agent has got her a better deal elsewhere, and the contract was up for renewal anyway.
yeah,
That's what I would think. She's obviously been happy enough in the kit because she's been there that long. So it's not like she was having to run in ultra, and she needed she needed out of them into decent shoes. So
yeah.
where do you think she could go?
I seen this the other day, and in my head, I couldn't put her. I didn't know where else to put her. Honestly, I couldn't pick a brand for her. Like I couldn't because I couldn't see past the North Face. I just thought it just worked well. She's been there, da da da, and then I was thinking, but where would she go? Because when you think of where she's going, you straight off at the minute you'd be thinking, oh well, there's Nike's hot at the minute, Hoka's there. Actress there, right? You know what I mean? They're picking up names at the minute, but like I wouldn't put her at any of those, you know, and I wouldn't put her at Solomon either. Like, you know, I wouldn't put her in Solomon.
I couldn't see her. I wouldn't go with Solomon. I don't. They just don't seem like they put their priorities in the distances that she's running and likely to continue to run longer distances. So I think it would actually be coming from the North Face, who I think are a bit like a modern day Patagonia as a trail running brand. If Normal had the money, I think she
Mm,
would be a good match for them. I could see that working, but I don't know if they're looking to sign people like that. They're certainly looking to increase sales in America. She's female in America, does really well.
yeah, yeah, but she's more like your FKT kind of person, right? Your FKT kind of athlete. So that's more American based, I think, than European. You know what I mean? It's more like there's more FKTs behind her name. It's for me looking at her as an athlete, I would associate her more with like these big FKTs. They're like her draw than racing. And
You think?
yeah, just from my kind of knowledge of her. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I would have put her down as like just this absolute weapon that races very much like a Zach Miller in style around
yeah,
that 50K kind of distance. I think she's one of the hardest racers, so I think that's possible. And you would assume, I think she's maybe ready to move up the distances as well. So maybe we
yeah.
see her more in the 100K this coming year. So I don't know. If you had to pick a brand, where would you put her?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, I can't. I'm stumped.
Well,
I'm stumped.
Josh in the chat is saying Asics. I would, I
Yeah.
like, I can't imagine signing for Asics because the gear all looks shit.
Yeah, but that's actually a good shout, hey. It is a good shout. It is a good shout. Tom Evans, Jennifer Lichter,
She's a
you know?
little bit like a Sarah Alonso, isn't she?
Yeah,
In her
yeah,
kind of grittiness.
yeah.
Tyler in the chat saying on, and all I've got to say to that is, I'm glad that he's committing to one because everywhere else is like on or ACG. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Whenever you're asked for one, say one. I would like to see her go to normal. I could, a couple other people have mentioned Hoka.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Another one, like, where do we think Hans Troyer's going to go? He's out at Ultra. You would think by choice. It was a short
Uh,
deal, but he did win JFK and an Ultra race.
Yeah.
And so they got really good miles out of him out of that one year of the contract. Where can you see Hans going?
Yeah, see, Hans, you could see him in. I could see him in a couple of places. Like I could see Hans in Hoka. I could see Hans at Nike as well. You know, he's just got that kind of like that vibe to him. He's got that look to him. You could see him at, yeah, you could. I could see him at Hoka or I could see him at Nike. They'd
I've
be
seen a
my two
couple of people
shouts.
mention Terex. What do you think about that
Oh,
as a possibility?
yeah, you could, but I don't know. I don't know. It's like Tarek's like, oh, maybe you could, but like Tarek's almost have this sound like it's like their own family they've built, you know?
Well, new
And
people can
it's,
join the family, right?
I know, and they have joined the family, and Hans is probably a really nice guy. I know me and you were talking like for like a millisecond over there, but I don't know. Like the Adidas Terex kind of comes in as like it's a very team orientated thing. Is does Hans want to go in and be like team player or does he want to be solo Hans? You know, Hans solo.
And Solo. That is a belter. Well done. Um, the only other person that stood out, and it's not even leaving the main brand. Lucy Bartholomew has left the feed, and
Mm,
that's like it seems like maybe it's not even worth mentioning, but she put a post up about it, and I thought maybe like that was a weird one for her leaving the feed because you know what athletes are like that work with the feed, like it's like they're having to sell their souls. And I've chatted with Lucy about the feed before. I'm like, you need to do a massive order because shipping to Australia is crazy. And she's like, yeah, I know. I just do it like every now and again just to get a haul over. But worth noting because it was a surprise. But I don't think we need to speculate where she's gonna go. You know, if anyone's spending money on nutrition at the minute, it's Precision Fuel and Hydration,
yeah.
and they are they've got the big wallets at the moment.
Yeah, I remember I got a I got a voucher for the feed there a couple of years ago, you know, and it was a good voucher, like you know, it was maybe €100 or $100 or something. I thought, oh, deadly, you know, and I went, should the shipping cost more than the stuff I wanted to buy, like you know. So I was like,
I
yeah,
have
that,
I have like a couple of $100 a month credit that was coming to me in the feed, and every month, no, what was it? It was $500 a quarter I was getting, and I had stopped using it because I couldn't get it shipped to me in the UK. I was able to get it whenever I was in living in Chamonix for a while, and the shipping was actually really fast. But just it lapses if you don't use it, so I just don't use it, and I think they may have even reduced it now. So
yeah,
not
well,
fueled by the feed, fueled by X Miles. Link in bio.
yeah.
Get your discount. Kick us a few quid.
Yeah.
Question in the chat, and then we'll close it out after that. What brand would you guys put yourselves in then? I mean, that seems like a crazy question to ask Ricky.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, there's this one brand I really like.
For me, I don't know, Kailas,
Yeah,
ACG. I wouldn't affiliate with one particular brand because I love them all for one thing or another. I've got more brands there. I guess if I could only pick one shoe brand to run in, I would pick La Sportiva, but I
okay.
wouldn't sign for La Sportiva because all of the kits look shit.
Yeah, yeah. But look, I also think that like there's a huge thing to do with like if you were an athlete and you're getting paid, right? Like I'm with Hoka, right? But Hoka shoes have always worked well for me. I would hate to be a pro athlete running in a shoe that didn't work for me just because they're paying me. It would be miserable to be running in a shit pair of shoes that just didn't work for you, you know, and you just know that like you're getting aches and pains from that shoe, or it's just not the right grip. It's just not the right shoe for you to get the best out of you. But they're paying me, so I'm going to wear it. I'd hate to be in that position.
Yeah, and that actually does happen. Like we see that, and you can read between the lines and understand that that's happening. And we've
Yeah,
seen people that have run for ultra, and then they've left, and all the while they were with ultra, it was oh best ever, blah blah blah, and then they leave, and then you hear them in an interview, yeah, those shoes weren't working for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't be
You
shitting
know,
on run influencers if you're a pro athlete and talking shit about a brand just because they're paying you because there's actually no difference. But I think Hoka is perfect fit for you because as you say, it's not you would be buying Hoka
yeah,
if you like
yeah,
the only difference if you weren't signed to Hoka, the only difference I would see with you is you wear a little less Hoka apparel and you might have a couple of other shoes in a rotation. That's
yeah.
it.
But
You'd be like
exactly,
an
yeah.
80-20 Hoka person still.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that would exactly be it. Like I'd still be probably racing in the Hokas because they're the shoes that have worked well for me since got into running. And then as a fan of other brands or certain brands, there might be a sprinkling of shoes thrown in there as well, just for training and running around in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can think of the brand as well, but we'll move on. The show is over. It's our first show
Ah.
back in 2026. We hope you enjoyed it. We want to know in the comments, not on the live, in the comments on Spotify or on YouTube, let us know which brands you would run for, we should run for. Who do you think Ricky would suit another brand? I'd love to hear what people would be speculating. Um, I bet someone comments and says that I should run for Crocs or something.
You'll get a ton of satisfied. That's what you'll get. You'll get a ton of satisfied.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention them, but sure.
Yeah.
Right. If you've enjoyed the show, leave us a review. Come on, let's kick off the new year with your resolution that you're going to leave a review for Trail Talk on
5 stars.
Spotify. Yeah, 5 stars or nothing at all.
Yeah.
If you've got a question, jump in the WhatsApp, link in the bio. We're now sitting at, I think, 508 members in the community. And the Strava events are there for the meetups, Swiss Canyon Trail, come along for the banter, for the racing. Or if you're in Ireland, come to the meetup on the 1st February in the mountains of Mourne and come and run with King Mourne himself.
The King of the Horns, baby.
All right, Ricky, have a good week. Catch you soon, mate.
Peace.
Peace.